Viewing him and grilling him like around 7 p.m. right here on this channel, also on the Instagram platform and Facebook. So you want to make sure that you also here. But like I said, in the next few minutes, um, we're going to dive in here. I just want to make sure that I let everyone know that we're hanging out here. Please go ahead on Facebook and share. By the way, if you don't have access to this yet, make sure you have access to it. EmpireBigData.com. That's where you want to go if you're interested in using the same software, same one that I use. Okay, I don't use anything else. That I use to pull motivated sellers, same software that I use to pull cash buyers. If you understand anything about the game of investing in real estate, it's about finding these deals. Okay, you have to find deals. If you can't find deals, you're broke. If you can't find deals, there's one more option. If you can find buyers, you can build a massive list of buyers. You have a way out. Now, if you can build a buyers list and you can monetize the buyers list, then you are truly in the game of entrepreneurship in 2020. So I keep telling you guys, real estate is not going anywhere. It's not. because fundamentally speaking, there's literally nothing wrong with the market. Um, but even in the long run, it's one of the three basic needs of human beings: food, clothing, shelter. So whatever happens, always understand that real estate is a recession-proof business, provided you understand how the market moves. Yes, markets will move ups and downs and things like that. That happens. That's just part of the game. Okay. Let's see here. There's one more thing I need to do so we can stay focused here. All right. Um, by the way, thank you so much if you're hanging out here. If you've already given us a thumbs up, thank you so much. If you're on Facebook, all you have to do is click that share button one time and click public, and it goes. If you're on YouTube, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you participate. Like I already asked about four of you to give me your name, but you wouldn't. That's okay, but it's just a lot more interactive if you participate. And if you're just logging in from Facebook, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Now let's get started. Okay, a couple of things that I need to point out for you today. It's very, very important that I point this out. I'm actually going to share my screen a little bit early today. Um, it's a lot of people that I spoke to today, not just one person. It's a lot of people I spoke to today that basically they're struggling because they haven't gotten a handle, a proper hold of the fundamentals of the game of investing. I continue to try to refine it to make it easy and simple because, frankly, honestly, a lot of my deals come from my successful students. I'm just being honest with you. That's one of the beauties about the fact that I could teach this stuff. All right. Now, with that being said, let's see here. Um, excuse me. Just want to make sure I turn this down. All right. So there's something I wanted to share. I'm going to go into my Google Docs real quick. Then I will go into prop streams later on. We got to show you some stuff in there. And then show you that this is like the easiest business right now. This is the time to get in right now. Of course, we want high volume. You want the loss of numbers and the loss of averages to be in your favor in this business. Okay. That's what you want it. Okay. The loss of numbers and the loss of average, you want that in your favor. The bigger the samples you're working with, the better. Okay. The better. The closer you are to getting lucky. So I hear people say, oh yeah, it looks like some people get luckier than the others and stuff like that. But let me see here. 5 stages. All right. To help you with this whole process is very, very simple. Obviously in the beginning, we're looking for deals. Okay. But deals do not fall out of the sky, right? They don't. All right. The deals do not fall out of the skies. The deals come from people. Okay. The money you're going to make in this game, in this business, or any type of business comes from people. Is that simple? Okay. That's where the money comes from. So it's very important that you understand the 5 stages, because that's what you're going to use to create the processes of your system. Speaking of systems, consistency is key in this game. Okay, consistency is key in this game, but consistency is one of the hardest things for human beings to do. Okay, so expecting yourself to be consistent when you're just human like the rest of us only leads to failure. Okay, just being honest with you. Okay, that only leads to failure. All right, so you want to make sure that you're positioned to be consistent, positioning to be consistent. Because if you depend on yourself to be consistent, it's not going to happen. Okay, it's not going to happen. Life will happen. That's what's going to happen. Life, right? It's going to get in the way. You're going to be like, I wanted to do this business. I'm not taking it serious, anything like that. So there are two people that I wanted to recommend for you today. Let me just share my screen and I'll show you what their pages look like, so you can check them out. I learned a lot just from following these guys about the game. And I felt like, why not? Recommend them for you. The first guy's name, actually, I just stumbled into him today. He has some really cool content. I'm not sure how long ago he got started, but bottom line is like he's doing some good things and you can learn from him. His name is Biz Matthew. All right. And the other person is the name of his channel on YouTube is Flipping Mastery. Okay, so you can write that down. Flipping Mastery. His name is Jerry Norton. Okay. All right. So if you go into YouTube, let's go into YouTube. I'll show you what their page, so that when we're done with our session today, you will be able to find them easily. Okay. Let's see here, Jerry. No. All right, Jerry Norton. All right, Jerry Norton. Oh, by the way, welcome to from Data to Deals. My name is Ola. Like I told you earlier, I think this is him right here. Okay, Flipping Mastery is very good. Now, this video he just did one day ago. What it takes to start and grow a successful business. It's mainly mindset. Okay, it's mainly mindset. Of course, he has other products to sell. I can't vouch for the product. I'm just talking about his content in the YouTube video. But he has some good points here, and I will touch on some of them actually in a few minutes. Okay, so Jerry Norton, if you search for Flipping Mastery TV, it comes right up. The other person is Biz Matthew. I think Biz Matthew, just stumbled into him today. Yeah, this gentleman right here. Okay, this is a video. I'm actually gonna test out the 5-point filter that he used right here in front of you, but you can go ahead and watch him after that. Okay. All right. So that's that. Now, a couple of things. Okay, let's get into the 5 stages. I've covered this, but it almost seems like it's either maybe if there's probably a few people watching me right now that I spoke to you earlier and you're here because I told you to come here today. That's good. If you're not, and if you're watching this after the fact, that's fine too. But there are 5 stages to this game, and basically, if you don't understand this business become useless for you. Okay. All right. A couple of things I wanted to share with you on my screen, on my video, on my phone here. Let's see. Okay, awesome. Okay. This right here, I got it from the video. Let me see if I can share this with you. Let me hide this for a second. Okay. This right here. Okay. Is this the best use of my time right now? If my time is worth $1,000, would I be doing it? Let me show that properly. There you go. All right. Can you see that? Hopefully. All right. So self-confronting questions to ask yourself. Okay. So for those of you that are here because you've driven for dollars and you found out that you're not getting as lucky as you've heard people get lucky, right? There's a lot of people, there's more than enough people getting lucky with driving with dollars, but the key word is luck. So maybe you won't get as lucky, okay? The way you want to do this business is to basically make luck and hope a non-factor. And if you do get lucky, sure, I get lucky from time to time, but the reason why it's from time to time is because I also operate from a very strategic standpoint. Okay. And that's something, let me use the phrase that Jerry used in his video earlier today. Strategic high-level activities. Okay. That's basically how you want to be operating. Strategic high-level activities. Okay. Level of activities. Now, I want to explain what that means to you in my own language, and you can go ahead and watch this later. Okay, but I stole the whole phrase from him earlier today. Shout outs to him. It's one of the people that come up with more quality content for people that are watching this information on YouTube. Strategic high-level activities. What does that mean? Okay, there are level activities in the game. Okay, there are low level activities are basically activities you engage in when you don't value your time. Okay, when you don't value your time, there are certain activities you engage in, and yes, you can get lucky. But if you got lucky the first time, there's a very high chance you won't get lucky a second time. Meaning miracles, right? If you get lucky the second time, it's basically impossible that you will get lucky over the next 6 months again. Maybe it will happen 6 months from now if you're still in the game. But basically, the idea here is to make luck and hope a non-factor when it comes to your inputs, your efforts in the business. And that's why I came up with these 5 stages so you can track your activities, so you can see where you are in the game. A lot of you, maybe you, right? Maybe you will find yourself, just give me 1 second. Let's see here. There you go. All right. So maybe you will get lucky, right? But what would you rather do? Get lucky or know exactly what you're doing at any point in time? Even if you haven't closed the deal, you know exactly what you're doing. You know how to track your activities and say, okay, this is the wrong thing that I'm doing right now, right? Which one would you rather do? Would you rather know what you're doing, or would you rather get lucky, right? This is like you said, a self-confronting question you should ask yourself, to see if you even have a chance of winning ever in the game of entrepreneurship. Okay, does that make sense? So, and that's why I wanted to share this with you today, more from a standpoint of step-by-step actionable things you can apply, and you can start applying. You can literally, after this session, you can go back and say, where exactly am I in this game? How come I haven't closed a deal ever, or in the last 3 months, or in the last 6 months? You will know exactly, where things are going wrong, and you can go back and troubleshoot and see about making sure that you change your situation. Okay. Stage 1 is data. Okay. Data. What does data mean? Okay. Here's what data means. Data is 1, 2, 3 Main Street. That's the surface level definition of data. Okay. Meaning a property address. That's it. That's data, right? Every types of business has data. Okay. So for example, if you're driving, you use a GPS. The GPS, people used to think, oh, it's because of the navigation location. Yes, some of that is that, but they're also continually collecting data from you and other people that are using the GPS to create additional navigation for you as you move forward by the microsecond. Okay. Thanks, Don. Don from Donald, Austin, Texas. Donald from Austin, Texas. Welcome. All right. Welcome, my friend. All right. So is that making sense? All right. So now let's dive into data is address. Now here's what you do. When you drive for dollars, you're collecting addresses. That's basically data collection. Okay. That's essentially what that is. Okay. That's all you're doing. Okay. You're literally 5 stages, or let me say plus 4 more stages away from ever closing the deal. So at this very junction, at the end right here, we have a deal. Okay, you have a deal. Okay, but to be more precise, if you're the one fixing the property to put back on the market, you have a deal. If you're a wholesaler, that's basically deal disposition. Okay, this is the deal disposition end. Okay, if you're doing things the right way, like let's say you know how to identify and find an actual deal, deal disposition should be easy for you. Like you should be that close to closing deals. Okay. So you should be that close to closing deals. Does that make sense? It's as simple as that. But if you're doing if you're the one that's going to fix up the property and sell it, you have a deal, because now it's just time to put in the work, that you have additional steps of putting in the work and then listing it with the realtor to help you sell it. But as a wholesaler, as a real estate wholesaler, this is basically where your job is mostly done, because if it's a deal, it's a deal. Somebody will take it out of your hands very fast. Now, sometimes a deal is not good enough and you have to market the deal, and generally you want to avoid that. You want to make sure that you're locking a good price, that you will have 3, 4, 5 people wanting the deal as fast as humanly, like they just want to lock it in, put the earnest money deposit in, and then in a few weeks, 1 or 2 weeks, you're closing. That's essentially what you need to be doing. Okay. But data collection, okay? Data collection. You can also say data manipulation, okay? You can also say data analysis, okay? Which is basically why you come here, why we'll try to practice using the software that's at the prop stream at empirebigdata.com. The next step is contact, okay? So contact, what is that? That starts with skip tracing, right? Well, direct mail, okay? At least you want to direct mail once, okay? I try not to do it more than once, because direct mail is, I only use it as a marketing tool, because I want people to have something to walk around with and share with other people and stuff. That's all. But I'm not going to keep pounding direct mail, because it's overpriced these days because of the competition, right? Direct mail, so you could call that postcards, right? Right. And basically, as the next is SMS text messaging, okay? And then we have emails, okay? Email marketing, okay? All right, so basically I try to do at least 4 touches. 1 postcard, 2 SMS text messaging, basically another text messages. I try to do once a week, every other week. It varies. Email marketing. The idea is we're trying to contact these people. Okay, let me put this in all caps. Okay, that's the second stage. Okay, so if you haven't done these 2 stages, you're not going to close deals. Very simple. If you haven't mastered how to do those 2 stages, you're not going to close deals. Now, this is when you're thinking at a strategic high. This is if you're engaging in this activities, you understand it's 5 stages. So if you understand it's 5 stages, you're not going to get stuck at driving for dollars. Okay, you will know that you're a few stages away from deals. So you don't really have the time to be wasting on the wrong type of strategy, guys. Driving for dollars is a data collection strategy. It's not a marketing strategy. You still have to go back, skip trace those property. Sometimes they forget to tell you. I understand. You still have to do the contact stage, right? But you're spending all this time and all this gas money on something you could literally do for less than $4 a day. Yeah, they told you that you get the best leads off the street. Well, all of the leads on the street are right here. Okay, they're right here inside of this right here. Okay, they're right here. I'm logging in right now to PropStream. Okay, that's it. Okay, all of the best leads are right inside of here right now. Okay, so that's going to take a minute to log in. Takes a second when I'm live streaming. Okay, all of the data you need that you're going to go on the street to collect, okay, it's already here. 160 million records. This is all of United States. Okay, but you're going to go drive on the street writing down addresses because somebody told you those houses are the best ones. They're not on any list. Every single one of those properties are on this list right here. They're in this list. Okay, we could go into any town. Okay, earlier today during a coaching session, we're in Davidson County, right? You go into any town, I have instant access to 346,000 properties, okay, in Davidson County. Okay, it's not all of them, okay? It's only the residentials, right? So let's go in here, and I'm going to go into property characteristics, classifications, only residentials. That's non-negotiable. Single family up to 4 family properties, family house, right? And like that. Okay. And then close. Right there, 200,000 residential properties ready to go for me. And I can add all other different types of, I can go and say, hey, I only want properties of people, of maybe potentially tired landlords who live out of state. I just set that in there, and then boom, I have 7,454 properties that I can literally. Now I'm looking at some here. I see new construction. It looks like a new construction, newer homes and stuff like that listed on the market right now. I can go in the filter and say, hey, I don't want any properties on the market. No properties on the market. Boom. Not only that, I want this property to have been owned for 10 years. Okay. I'm actually going to use, in a second here, I'll use Biz Matthews filter on this county. He used it in Huntsville in Alabama. I'm going to use it here in Davidson County in Tennessee, right? And I live in New Jersey. I could do this anywhere in the nation and do business anywhere in the nation as long as I know how to find deals. There are people looking to take those deals away from my hands for $10,000 a pop. Okay, my average is $25,000. Okay, my highest ever is $82,000 from one deal. Now I'm down to 2,821 properties. I'm not going to go after all of these properties. It's a lot of properties. You know, I probably need only a few hundreds for the next 1 month that I can chase and go after for the next 1 month, right? And I can go, some of this have, I can click into it. Some of this have pictures in there, right? And I can see that this property has zero debts against it. So it's fully owned, free and clear, right? We're going to come back here and play around with this. So let's go back here for a second, okay? What is stage number 3 and 4? What is stage number 3 and 4? What are stage number 3 and 4? See, honestly, if you're not going to take advantage of this and this, don't even worry about stage 3, because anything from stage 3 and forth are basically byproducts of what you do in stage 1 and 2. Okay, but just for the sake of identification, leads. So you may say, hey, Ola, I've been doing data though. I've been doing contacting though, but I'm not generating leads. Then the question is, how many of it are you doing? Where are you doing it? Have you done your market analysis, market research properly, right? Market research, market analysis. So you can feel free to put market right next to this. Data, market, collection, manipulation, analysis, research, right? That's basically a stage number 1. That's synonymous to data collection, manipulation, and analysis. Those are the stages right there, okay? Now, if you have trouble remembering, it's that simple, okay? So what is stage number 4? Contracts, okay? When you generate leads, the next step is to lock them under contract, okay? Because that will basically create your equitable interest. You can sell it or you can exercise it, okay? It's a right, okay? It's basically a right that you can sell or you can execute it, all right? Right? So on the deal end, you are selling. You can call it assign, okay? And this is where you produce assignment fees. Okay. So now that's where the moolah comes in, okay? Money, right? So here's what I see a lot of people do. They say, oh yeah, but I've been doing this for like 3 months. I haven't closed any deal. Then when I ask them and say, what have you done? What do you think you've done so far? What do you think you're doing wrong? And then they freeze, right? Some people have been doing this for 2 years. They don't know why they haven't closed any deal. Well, if you don't know the different stages that you will go through, or you can call it processes in the business, you call it, the system step by step from where you are right now to where you're trying to get to, then you're basically hoping. You're practicing the business of hope and luck, and you're hoping that one day you'll get lucky. And it just doesn't work that way. So if you ever wonder why I come back here every day to show you what's going on here. This is why. Okay. This is why I come back here and show you, because if you practice data manipulation, data analysis, and you get used to user, this is simply, you're just one step away. You're one step away from producing deals all over the place. Okay. However, the reason why I say that is because these two stages is basically your input into the game, into the system, right? Once you start inputting all of this into a system, you will generate leads. It's just only at that point, it's only a numbers game. But laws of numbers, laws of averages must work in your favor. So there's a little bit of a minimum that you want to do to create momentum. The only reason why if you're having problems at this stage of leads, right, it's probably because you're lacking momentum, right? How do you create momentum? You create momentum from consistency of everything before this stage, okay? Because a lot of people you're contacting this month, they may not close a deal on it. They may not be ready to sell until a third month from now. Some of them are ready to go right now. Some of them maybe not. Some of them will be ready to go 5 months from now. But you create momentum from being consistent because you're building your list of people you can potentially follow up with to keep you busy, okay? To keep your system busy, okay? That's the idea, okay? So momentum, consistency, that's how you do it, all right? Now, with that being said, I wanted to okay, so there are 5 points to Biz Matthews filter, okay, that he used earlier today, and I'm just going to clear all and then do them all over again. And that's just his method. Everyone has their own method. Everyone has what their preferences are. There are some that I feel are non-negotiable, okay, and I'm going to share that with you. But let's first of all, let me go through what his filters are. Okay, he calls it the vacant list criteria. You can go watch the video on his channel. All right, he picks a city or zip code. Personally, I prefer going at the county level. Okay, so Davidson County, Tennessee, like I said. Okay, once you enter that into the search box, right, you will see how many properties are on the market. I like to see 1,000 here. I also like to see 1,000 in pre-foreclosures, by the way. It just tells a lot on the size of the market, but I would bend on that. Okay. So, for example, right now, his criteria is not even about pre-foreclosure, it's about vacant list. So, the very quick list that he's going to use as the base of his stack is going to be the vacant, right? So we have 14,000 there, so that's good enough. 14,000 vacant properties per available records, right? So we're going to click on this vacant, right? 1 second. Okay. So we're going to click on that, and I'm going to go into filters and then enter his filter details. Okay. This is exactly how we entered it, but this is just for another location. Now you can save this filter and you can use them in multiple different locations. So it starts with the wherever the location is, it goes to vacant. We already have vacant here, and then it goes into single family, townhouses, condos, multifamily. I personally, I don't like that. And if you've been watching the series, I told you my reasons why I don't want anything with home owners associations interest. I just don't want it because I don't have good experience. In 15 years, I don't have good experiences with them. Okay. The only, I have closed deals that are condos, but they're just a headache. Okay. So I rather deal with residential up to 4 family houses. There are, depending on the community, they have invested interest in making sure people don't buy too cheap. And that's the idea. That's how we make money, right? So because they don't want to mess up the value of the community, of the condominium community, right? So they don't want you to come in there and be paying 50% of what the property is worth. That's how they keep the value up. Because if the value is destroyed, no one wants to come in there and buy from that condominium community again. So that's understandable. Okay. If I own a condominium too, I will do the same thing. So anything with homeowners association, I don't do. So he says single family, then under the property types, he says townhouses, condos. I'm not gonna put those there. I'm just gonna go single family and multi-family. Now, he may has a trick under his belt on how to nail properties in townhouses, condos. No one knows it all in this game. Okay, maybe he does, but my experience and what I know, I rather spend my marketing dollars, especially when the whole nation is mine, where I know I can do deals. Okay, so multi-family. Okay, now I would had it, but let me just add it and I'll take it out later, okay? Just so you can see what its criteria are, right? Not on the market. I completely agree with that. You don't want a property that's listed on the MLS. So you want to do no. Does that make sense? We don't want anything on the market, okay? Why? Because I love agents. I want them to stay in their lane. I stay in my lane, and we only do business when we give each other value. We have to see it upfront because I actually don't have time to explain what wholesaling means to anybody. I don't have that time. Okay. And even if I did, I wouldn't want to invest time in that. Okay. So the next thing here is minimum of 10 years ownership. I actually like that. I say 5 to 7. He says 10 years. It's okay. You know, he wants those people to be invested in the property, but also to know enough that they have enough experience with the property to say, I don't want this property any longer. If a person owned the property just yesterday and they're about to sell today, you know, there are multiple reasons why I don't want to mess with that I don't want to market to that. Okay, I don't mind messing with it if they call me or somebody refers them to me, but as far as me spending marketing dollars and resources, I like it to be tight. So minimum of 10 years ownership, I say 5 to 7. Again, that goes to tell you there's no hard written rule. You just got to use it's not exact science, it's art. Okay, this whole game is more of an art, which is why you have to practice and practice, because you get better and better. If it was an exact science, I'll just tell you. I try to bring everything down to exact science, by the way. That's why I shared the 5 stages with you. Okay. So now that we've done that, and I think there's one more, and then it goes 70% or more equity. And I like that. You know, I do 50%. I think 70% is ambitious. That's nice. There's nothing wrong with that. It just means he likes to deal with people that have equity. So it's easier to flip the deals faster, right? So there's nothing wrong with that. I'll go 50 because I can do short sales. I have no problem with short sales if I have to. And but you know, let's just go with this. Let's see what the numbers looks like in Davidson County in Tennessee, right? So we go here, 70 estimated equity, minimum of 70%. Just keep in mind, this is dollars and this is percentage. In business, for the most part, we deal in percentages, okay? Now, let me look at these numbers. It comes down to 5,210 properties in this location, vacant, not necessarily in pre-foreclosures, right? Let's see here, properties. But here's the problem for me, here's the problem, okay? All of these different criteria, you can click and filter, you can see the criteria as vacant, residential, single family, not on the market, 10 years ownership, include unknown sales. Actually, I'm going to take that out. This is under here. We just got to take this box out. So he didn't say that. So we're going to take that out, right? So years of ownership, 10, 70%. If you are watching me right now, do you see in this criteria list that you're looking at right now, do you see anything that's potential pain? That's one. Do you see anything that's potential problem that you can solve? Because again, if you're approaching this game without stacking in existing problems that you can see from a data access standpoint, right? Right. So do you see pain? Do you see problem? Do you see questions that you could answer? These are values. These are essentially values that you can bring into a marketplace, right? The only way to make money in business is to bring value, right? You have to solve some kind of problem, answer some kind of questions, or replace some kind of pain with pleasure. That's why thriving businesses are created from, okay? There's a marketplace, right? If you don't have those things, you have to hard sell. You have to sell them on even talking to you first. Okay. But if you had those things, you wouldn't have to sell them on talking to you because they already have a problem that you can solve. Does that make sense? So on that list, can you guys think of, do you see any kind of pain, any kind of problem that you could solve? Do you see any questions or anything that could create a question outside of how do I guess, how do I maintain my house? There's nothing hard, solid value you can bring to the table. Okay. So, but if you have a sizable, a big enough market budget, sure, you can market to these people. A deal may come out of it. You're just making an offer. Well, there's one thing, okay? There's one thing, and I didn't have anybody mention it. The base of the list is vacancy. Vacancy can be a pain point, okay? A property has property taxes that are due on it every year. So no one wants a property sitting there vacant unless it's a vacation home. It could be a vacation home. However, vacancy is a problem, okay? It's a potential problem, not a problem, a potential problem. So that's just one. I like to see at least 3 levels of potential problems. That's what I like. And that's where I like to spend my marketing dollars. Okay? That's what I like. So I'm going to go through this filter list and see a few more things that I could add onto it and see if I can make that list a lot tighter. There's 5,000 people on the list, but it's not about volume for me. It's about the depth of the quality of this list that I'm about to create. Okay. I know that everyone on this list is vacant, residential, single family, condo, townhouses, which I don't want again. But this is its own, right? So if he had created or saved a search from this and he put it in Davidson County, it will create 1,508 properties. Okay. But my budget is maybe $300 for the next month. I need that number to come down, but not just come down. I need it to come down. I need it to be a lot more quality in terms of potential motivation level. Someone that has multiple reasons why they may want to sell at a discount, where they don't mind selling at a discount. A person in their right mind, right? If they don't have any problems, they're not broke or anything like that, they don't want to sell me a property at 50% discount. Okay. But a person in their right mind who is potentially about to lose this property, is vacant, some other things, they're dealing with bankruptcy, they're dealing with divorce, right? Or they have reasons to want to get rid of the property. So it's not about them selling at a discount. They need to get rid of the property. That's the value that I bring to the table, because I help them get rid of a piece of property that they don't want, right? So if there was probate situation, but so let's go through that filter and see what else we can add. So the first thing I would add here is non-owner occupied. No, I'll just leave that alone for now. I already know that they're vacant, so I'm not worried about that. Here, I'm going to go back here. I definitely don't want condos. I don't want condos. Not only that, I go down to the bottom here where it says association. I exclude anything with homeowners association's interest. Okay. And just by doing that, I reduce that list by 300. Okay. My list is a lot tighter. No condos. So that's another reason why I don't like condos. They're not that many anyway. So I don't want them taking the space of my marketing budget. Okay. This is just my thought process. You come up with yours. You watch this over and over again. You will come up with yours, something that works for you, but you can model after mine. You can steal mine. Okay. All right. Now, what works for everyone is different. Your list will be expanded. You will use a lot less filter once your budget. Maybe this Matthew's budget is that big and he can afford to send to all 1,500 people without worrying about it. Afterwards, going to close 3 more deals next month. And then, it's not a big deal. He spent $1,500 last month. He made $45,000 next month. Maybe it's not a big deal. For me, it's always a big deal regardless of how big I get, because that's what allows me to keep my money, right? But again, everyone's mindset is different, right? So I'm going to go here. So this is good. We got that. We're going to go to pre-foreclosures. No, not yet. Let me go to what else here? Okay, let's go to ownership, right? I would want to filter that list a little bit further. Okay. If I started with vacant, minimum, I would want to say only out of state owners or out of county. Okay. Meaning non-owner occupied. Okay. So if I go out of state owners, right, I will close this. This brings my list down to 69. You may say that list is too small. Well, I will save it and apply that same filter to the next county over. That list is a lot better. It's tighter. Okay. But again, that's just potential pain, right? The potential pain, not necessarily a pain, right? Personally, I like to have these people facing some kind of pre-foreclosures in the last few years. Okay. So I'm going to play around with this filter a little bit. And these two at the top right here, especially the top one, is always negotiable. Okay. I go on the pre-foreclosure. I can go here and say, I want only properties with notice of default, meaning they've been late on their mortgages, and I'll keep that like that, right? I can also go to ownership info and I can say, hey, it's harder to skip trace corporates, LLCs, and stuff like that. I want to deal with individuals. I'll keep it that way, right? Close. And that brings me down to 0. Literally eliminated everyone on that list. Why? Let's see why. Okay. So we have residential, single family, excluded homeowners. This is not why. That's not why. That's not why. It's probably because that neighborhood is probably people that actually live in the property for the most part. Okay. So if I take this out, this is probably why. It's usually not the individual owner type. Okay. It's usually because of sometimes it could be because of a disconnection between records between the county and PropStream, the software. Okay. So you just want to make sure that you play around with that. So here I'm going to take this out. Okay. And let's see, what else did I just add? Okay. That's probably not why. I think it's because of the foreclosure, but let's see. So it's still empty, right? Let's go here. So here on notice of default, basically no one on that list is in default. Remember, they own the property for like 10 years. So maybe that's one reason why they're not. But I like to only deal with people in default, right? So let's go here under property ownership. Let me reduce this down to 5, right? So I can deal with people that own the property for 5 years, not 510 years, right? Okay, so that's not why yet. Individual. Okay, so it's probably because of this. If we take this out, you can see the list is building here. Okay, so this is why. So because we started building the list from pre-foreclosures, all right, if you look at the top here, it's low pre-foreclosure list in that county, 105. I like to remember I told you I like to see 1,000 to really play in that county. So this will probably be disqualified, be a disqualified county for me to play in, just for having under 101,000 pre-foreclosures. I like pre-foreclosures because it's an indication of potential motivation that somebody needs to sell a property. Okay, so that's that right there. Okay, now let's see here. Okay, so we took that out. We can keep this back at 10. All right. So it wasn't the out-of-state owner thing, it was the foreclosure thing. It's just not it's not a county with a lot of pre-foreclosure. Okay, we'll go to ownership here, 10. Here I can set it back at out-of-state. Okay, and I'll still have people on the list, and that's even better. So why out-of-state? Because out-of-state owners, 49 people on that list, right? Out-of-state owners, they're potential tired landlords. Okay, I'm going to make them an offer on the property and see about potentially buying the property. All right, so I do data, and everything I've been doing so far has been data, right? After that, you want to basically contact them. You can do all of that from inside of the system. All you have to do is click save. You select all of the list, 49 selected, you add them to a list, and then you want to go down to skip tracing. Okay, skip tracing here, they have basically for 88 cents a piece, you will be able to send a postcard out at least once, and then you'll be able to get phone numbers, mobile phone numbers, and email addresses, and then you basically just want to go to work for the next 1 month trying to contact those people. And that's next stage, okay? When you do see somebody that is willing to entertain an offer, that's when you call it a lead, okay? That person will reside on your list until they either sell you a property or they tell you don't call them any longer. Okay, that's it. But consistency, you want to build this list right here. Okay, you want to, here is basically list building. Okay, that's why you see some people say, oh yeah, I closed 10 deals last month, because they've been doing this for a minute and they have people that they contacted 10 months ago and the person they contacted 9 months ago, and those that they contacted, some of those that they contacted at those times are now just closing deals. All right, it's a process, and some people close right away as soon as you contact them. It was just, that's luck. They got lucky because they understand it's a numbers game. The more you understand it's a numbers game and you're working the numbers of data, marketing, essentially marketing. Stage 1 and 2 is essentially marketing activities. That's what I referred to earlier as high level strategic activities. Okay, strategic high level activities. That's what these are. All right. So if you have any problem right now in your business, you want to say, you want to look at this list and say, all right, looks like I had, if you say, hey, I'm not getting on a contract, the question I'm going to ask you is this: how many leads did you generate in the last 30 days? 0. So you can't get, it's no way you can get contracts, because you got to generate leads first. Or if you say, I don't know what leads are, I'm like, so you can't get contracts. If you say, I haven't closed any deals in 6 months, I'm going to say, okay, never mind 6 months. Let's worry about last 30 days, because all businesses, all bills are paid in 30 days. Let's keep it simple, right? You haven't closed any deals. Not in the last 30 days. How many contracts did you lock up last month? If you tell me 0, it's like, okay, that makes sense. So let's not worry about deals. Let's go to contracts. You didn't get any contract in the last 30 days. How many leads did you generate? And then you're going to be like, I don't know. What do you mean by leads? Exactly. That's why you're not locking in any contract, because you have to generate leads, meaning a person that's interested in entertaining an offer, because that's what starts a negotiation. Between leads and contract is a negotiation. Basically, you saying this is how much you can offer for the property, right? But you got to have a conversation. Leads mean you have contact information of this person. This person has reached out to you, or you reached out to them. It's not good enough that you reached out to them. They have to have responded by saying, yes, I will entertain an offer. It's the yes that makes it a lead. Yes, I am open to selling this property is what turns it to a lead. So I see a lot of people say, how do I get leads? Oh, I could get leads. No, you don't get leads. You get leads by working the data, contacting the data, and then those two activities is called marketing. And then that would generate leads. If you haven't generated any leads in the last 30 days, you're missing contact. If you haven't contacted anyone in the last 30 days, I think you know what the answer is. It simply means data. You're missing out on, you're not generating data, right? So for you to generate enough data, if you don't want to just depend on luck and hope, driving for dollars will not cut it. You need to do a little bit more than that, okay? Unless you're just looking to depend on luck, okay? Which is possible. Again, there are testimonials of people closing deals with driving for dollars. I'm just telling you, I'm talking specifically personally driving for dollars. There are people that build a team of driving for dollars people. Obviously, those ones understand what I'm talking about. They are thinking at a high level, strategic high level activities. That's why they have other people doing the driving for dollars, not them. There's only 24 hours in a day. How are you going to close deals if you spend that 24 hours? Imagine if that was worth $1,000 and you're spending that driving around, right? And then you're wondering why you're not creating money, because the people that create money understands the value of time. Money is a byproduct of understanding the value of time, creating leverage, creating value for a big market. If you can, the more people you serve, the more people you bring value to, the more money you make. How many people are you going to bring value to driving around town, just writing down addresses, right? Where you could do that for less than $4 a day, and you can have unlimited access to data, so you can get quick, fast to the contact stage and start working that, so you can get faster to the next stage, which is leads. All right. So guys, please make sure you give it a thumbs up. I'm done. This is it. If you have any questions, I'll give you 30 seconds to drop in your questions. I have to go and relax. I will be back here with a special guest who is doing some really cool things in Atlanta, Georgia. It's a guy who went from being an artist to now doing fix and flips and stuff like that. I'm just going to be questioning him, and we're going to learn a lot from his stories. He has a ton of stories from the mid-90s up till now, his journey. As a guy who's responsible for hundreds of thousands of musical geniuses in Nigeria, Afrobeats market. So now he's doing real estate. We just thought it would be interesting. So come back here at 7 p.m. and we'll be live right here. Also, primarily on the Instagram, on my Instagram page, which you can see linked to my Instagram page, iTuxB, iTuxB on Instagram. That's where we'll be at, but we'll stream it right here as well. If you want to come here and watch it, that's perfectly fine. Please make sure you give it a thumbs up, this video. If you learned a lot from today, please make sure you give it a thumbs up before you leave, and we'll be back here also at 4 p.m. tomorrow. What's today? I lost track. Today is what? Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that. We're here Monday through Thursday, 4 p.m. Hopefully you've been enlightened, educated. I'll see you on the next one, and peace.